welcome to another insightful edition of Good Morning Africa. I am Esther Thomas. I am delighted to start the day with you. Of course, I am not doing this alone. Alongside me is
Kelechi Anure.
Kalechi Anare. Good morning.
Good morning, Esther Thomas. How are
Hi,
you?
how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm alive. I'm good.
You're looking all dazzling, all put together.
Well, trying not to look like a problem, isn't it?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, it's the beginning of a new month. So, do you have any expectations? Do you have set goals and do you have time frames? So, what are your expectations for this month?
Well, first quarter done, second quarter, and I would say it's been a period of growth. It's been a period of getting to learn and unlearn, and so far so good. I'm hyped with the new month, August, and soon enough, after August, we are entering into what we Nigerians call the Ember
Ember
month,
month,
and
yes.
soon enough the jingles and the Christmas tidings coming. But so far so good. It's been a blessed year, and hope for the best towards the end of the year and the best from August.
It's a good thing knowing. So, do you want to know my expectations for this month?
Yeah, I'd love
And
to know your expectations and how so far so good. That those your New Year resolutions. December 31st, everybody's New Year, new me, and I want to do this 2026. I'm going to do this. So far so good. Those are your resolutions. Do you stand by them?
yes, working towards them. The year has not ended. But so far, so good. It has been a wonderful year so far. As a Nigerian, it has not been easy.
Mm.
But meeting my 2026 resolution, I think on my part, I've tried. I give myself the flowers, right? Give me my flowers.
Yeah,
I'm giving myself
take the
the
garden.
flowers,
Not only
right?
flowers, take the whole garden.
You can join the conversation by hitting the follow, like, and subscribe button across all social media platforms at Housing TV Africa. Today is a power packed, like we have a lot of things for you, our viewers, today. I want you to sit down, grab your coffee as we take the charge for today.
Hello, you are welcome to I Can Make It. What a joy to come to share thoughts with you. I'm so happy we are live. You remember our last edition? I was talking about life. It's a journey. It's not a 1 meter dash. There are so many challenges that come our way. If we are patient and willing and obedient, we will eat the good of the land. You are not a mistake. God created you for a purpose. And because you have purpose to fulfill, God protects you, guide you, and deliver to you your portion in the land of the living. But a lot of us along the line, we cut short our life by our behavior, by our character, by the things we do. So life is not a 1 meter dash. A lot of us need to learn to delay gratification. Like our last edition, if you follow us, I was sharing with you about a man that went on a journey to serve so that he can take care of his family. And as he went, where we stopped last time, when the boss told him, I'm not going to give you money. I want to give you 3 pieces of advice in life. And if you follow it in your journey, you will arrive. And I want to say the same thing to you today. In your journey, you will arrive. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. You don't need to kill yourself. There is nothing that you are going through in life today that is new. The only thing that is new is that you are just new in this environment. That is why when young people tell me, oh, you are old school, I only laugh. I tell them you are the new student. You are welcome to I Can Make It. Now, never take shortcut in life. The master told him, never take shortcut. Shortcut will cut short your life. Then the number 2 thing the master told him, never be too curious towards evil. He said, because that curiosity will lead you to a dead end. Number 3 thing the master told him, never make decision in the moment of anger and pain, for you might not be able to reverse it. Now, in the journey of life, this young man got in contact with all these 3 things as his journey in life. I want to continue the story. And after giving him the piece of advice, the boss said to him, you hear what I have told you. These 3 loaf of bread, I'm going to give you 3 loaf of bread. You are going to eat one of them. And number 2, you are going to eat one of them as you go. And as you journey, you eat another one. So you eat one of them now. Then as you take this journey, you eat another one. When you get home, to your wife that you have not seen for the past 20 years because you came into this journey so that you can make money, so that you can work and give your wife a good life. And he said you open the third one and you are going to eat the last bread. Now, as this young man take his journey, while he was going, he on his way, and the journey was going to take him 20 days. And as he began to move on his way, 5 days into the journey, he met a man along the way. What did the man tell him? The man tried to show him a shortcut. The man told him, why are you going to go through all these things? Because a lot of our young people today, shortcut have cut short their life. If you go to our correction center, you see a lot of young people, they are there in regret. You see a lot of our young ladies, they are entering into incurable disease, STD, so many things that is happening. The reason why these things happen, because they don't learn to delay gratification. Let me tell you something. The difference between you and anybody is time. So take your time. Take your time is not an insult. It simply means get focused. Pursue your goal. Pursue your dream. You can make it. God did not create you. You didn't escort anybody to this world. It does not matter what is happening. You can succeed. And this young man came in contact with another man. Said, why are you going to take this journey for 20 days? Come on now. We can make this journey in less than 5 days. You will be at home. As the young man turned back to follow that man, he remembered what the master told him. Don't take shortcut. And the man came back and continued in this journey. That's number one hurdle. And while he was traveling, he came into a place he needed to lodge. He needed a place to lodge to rest. While he was in the lodging place in the night, at about 2, 3 o'clock, in the midnight, he heard a very sharp noise. That noise was heavy. He woke up from the sleep and he was trying to run outside to check what was happening. Then he remembered what the master told him. Don't be curious. A lot of people, you are too interested in so many things that is not interested in you. Curiosity have landed a lot of people into so many things, inexplainable things that they find themselves in life. In this journey of life, like I said, it's not a 1 meter dash. You just need to be patient. Don't be curious. And this master told him, don't be curious. And instead of you to run outside that night, he remembered and went back and stayed back into his room. You know what happened? In the morning, the guest came and saw him and said, what's happening? He said, I want to leave. He said, did you not hear the noise last night? He said, I heard the noise last night. He said, why did you not come out? He said, well, I wanted to come out, but I just changed my mind. You know what the man told him? The man said, every guest that have lodged into this place, they never leave here alive. They never leave here alive. He said, because there is one man there. Every time you will make a very sound noise, and if you go and check, you will be graveyard ready for going to check. Curiosity have landed a lot of people into so many problems. I tell you, life is a journey. It's not a 1 meter dash. You can make it if only you learn to delay gratification. Take into cognizance the things you have been told. It was Isaac Newton that said, if I have seen above, it's by standing on the shoulder of them that have gone ahead of me. If you listen, you will learn. When you learn, you will lead. And when you lead, you will arrive at your destination. You can make it. Then the third one that happened to him along the line, while he traveled this journey. You know, in the journey of life, you need to learn to be patient. Patience will bring you into your inheritance. Patience will bring you into so many things in life. Let me tell you something. You don't go to compare yourself among other people. They that compare themselves among themselves are not wise. I want to tell you today, you can make it. I want to also welcome you. Our next edition, I will continue with the story. Until I see you in our next edition, don't forget, this is Simon and Semota saying, you can make it. God bless you.
When the city is getting too loud, you need a home. Home is love, peace, and tranquility.
All right, welcome back. I know you feel inspired. I know you feel motivated. All right, we have, like I said, before going on that short break, we have super pack programs for you in this edition, slating from the Buttes story to our major story. And of course, you know, in Good Morning Africa, we discuss stories that has made headlines across national newspaper. The first story we'll take today is NNPC deploys over 1,000 new employees. All right, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has deployed over 1,000 young professionals into its workforce after a 1 year internship, intensive training, and evaluation programs. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, Bayo Ojulari, discussed this in a post on his social media handles, describing this exercise as a major milestone for the national oil company. According to Ojulari, the newly deployed employees emerged from a rigorous process that included internship, training, and performance assessment. He encouraged the new employees to contribute ideas, speak up, and take responsibilities for their professional growth within the company. He also urged them to remember the process that led to their deployment and to create opportunities for others in the future. Right? NNPC has just deployed 1,000 employees. I must say it is a good one. 1,000 is a huge number, I must confess. It's a huge number. And then it is not a process that started this year. They have been given, they were called, I think, a year ago, and they have gone through rigorous process of internship, training, to know the nitty-gritty of the job. And this period, they've come out to say, okay, this 1,000 people, they have gone through the process and they can now be called NNPC workers. Congratulations to them, I must say. It is a good one. And it is a good one for Nigeria economy at large. You know, over the years, we've been crying of unemployment. We've been saying a lot of things. Government should provide employment for young Nigerians. And in this administration, they're coming out to say 1,000 people. What do you have to say about it?
Oh, well, I would say, first of all, congratulations to those young professionals, 1,000 young professionals that have been given, let's call it a meritorious employment into NNPC. That's a great feat working with NNPC. And coming there from the authorities of NNPC, they said, when I read the news, they said that the offer letter got them into NNPC, but their hard work, dedication, and resilience kept them in NNPC. Now, this just shows the fact that hard work doesn't go unpaid. Because coming in a dispensation where in out of 10 guys, in out of 10 youths, we see give or take 8 of them venturing into cyber crimes and all other sort of bad vices to get money, but having to see 1,000 of young professionals putting in the work, settling down and telling themselves, okay, this is the part I want to do, this is what I want to do, let me do it. It's a kudos to that, and it's something worth emulating. Having to see 1,000 of these young men and women being retained after a year of rigorous training, and now it's, as you said, it has helped reduce the employment gap. Even if it's just a scoop of water out of the ocean, it's still something we should commend.
Yeah.
Let's not only,
Right.
blow out the bad ones that the government is doing, or the ones that are not doing, but this is a good one to say, okay, yes, thank you so much, kudos to those guys, and also kudos to NMPC and the authorities that have made this possible, this platform possible, to keep employing young ones. As I said, it might just be a scoop, a cup of water out of the ocean, but if we keep taking those cups out of the ocean, probably someday the ocean might get dry. And speaking of the number of unemployed youths and individuals we have roaming the streets in this country.
And this justify recently the federal government came out to say, okay, 5 things, I think more than 5, they list out things that Nigerians do that make them not to have, or things that make them not to get
Qualified
government.
government.
Yes, yeah, make them not to be qualified. And one of which is Government jobs are not bought. So these justify that saying that you can actually get government jobs without being, Nigerians, we have so many stereotypes, like so many beliefs that, okay, if I have a godfather, if I know somebody in the corridor of power, I can be able to buy a job for myself. And I'm saying this from a personal point of view, from a personal experience, because I remember that time that where like people went online, they registered and got the job. I know somebody that got this job right then without a godfather, without paying a dime to anybody. So this justify that assertion they made a few days ago that you can actually get government job without paying anybody. You can get government job without a godfather. And we should be getting more of this kind of news because it is not every time we project Nigeria in a bad light. It is not every time we say the shortcomings of our government. They have done this one. We should give them their flowers. It's a good one, I must say.
Yeah, we should give them the flowers, but I would love to draw you back to the aspect where you said government jobs are not bought.
Yeah.
I would love to say that these are really lucky thousands, like a thousand that got this job meritoriously through their hard work and perseverance. But coming out to say government jobs are not bought, I permit me to say you are wrong to some aspects.
Okay.
And yeah, because sometimes you see persons say they've paid and they've done this and they just sit back and watch. Let's just take a look at the now. I'm talking about we took that story of one of our segments on Good Morning Africa here, the problem of ghost workers.
Yes.
You don't have to give money for you to buy a job.
Right.
Yeah, for the fact that I didn't drop the money on the table and I got the job without doing anything doesn't mean I didn't buy it. I
Okay.
bought it by the virtue of my relative being there. I
Okay.
bought it with that. He's my relative, she's my relative. I believe when we took that story, the ministry that had the highest number of ghost workers was
As
the
a
Nigeria
police
Police Force. Now you saw where someone gave to his father-in-law and his in-laws and all. That's still from my own point of view, that's still a way of buying jobs. So I don't need to give you the brown envelope before it said, okay, I bought the job.
I actually understand the perspective you're coming from, but then is it something legal?
Obviously
It's just a
not.
yes or no I want from you. Is it something legal?
It's not.
Good. We should begin to change the narrative, right? We should begin to change the narrative. Now, these things are happening, right? But then change begins with you. Change begins with me, right? If we begin to tell or sell the story to the younger generation that, oh, fold your hands, sit down, you can buy government job. It encourages laziness. It encourages different bad vices. But then let's begin to change this narrative. You can get a government job without dropping a dime. You can get a government job with your qualification. You can get a government job with your certificate. You can also get a government job with your certificate. So let us begin to change this narrative. That is the angle I was coming from.
And the government too need to change the narrative
I think-
because they have a lot of work to play in that aspect. Because maybe the guys at the top might not have sanctioned this, but the bureaucratic process in the government system where you have this has to move from one office to another before it gets signed. That journey, that movement from this office to another, that is where the problem lies. That is where the problem comes from. Because for it to move, like you submit a file in my office, and it's just as easy as me signing it and I pass it to the next department.
Yeah.
But then in my office, just for it to move, I can coin it and say, oh, it's something that it takes time, but but if you do something, I don't need. We all know the Nigerian term, but if you do something, I'll see what I can do for you, and then you on the other hand, you dip your hand inside your bag, and you give me something.
That is
I've
why
painted it in a way
the
in a way
yeah
that it's
yeah
something that is it's something that will take time. Meanwhile, it doesn't. It's
don't
as easy as
well,
okay, Kelechi and Ore has signed this. Please pass it to the audit department or pass it to the clearing department. But then I act like I've had. If you can see, look at this file. A whole lot of things. Come on. So that bureaucratic process, it needs to be cleansed. We need to cleanse it off. As I said, maybe, just maybe, the ladder, the people at the top of the ladder haven't sanctioned this, but then they need to look down and cleanse the ladder.
I feel this boils down to personal qualities and characterization. I mean,
Integrity and
characteristics.
everything.
Yes. First of all, integrity comes to play. Every human should have conscience. Every human should have a sense of responsibility. Every citizen should be patriotic. Above all, we should be men and women of integrity. If everybody is, if we have people, or I cannot even say everybody, but if the larger number of people in the government parastatal are people of integrity, a lot of these things we are saying today will not be what we are saying today. First world countries, you don't take files up and down. You don't take files from an office to another. Everything should be. I think if you are able to access these things from the comfort of your home, from your system,
It's a digital world.
it's a digital world.
Total cleansing of our ideas, our personal belief would to a longer extent cope the problem of buying of jobs and getting jobs based on he's my relative or he's my in-law. I married his daughter is my sister's
Yeah.
uncle and all of that. But yeah, kudos once again, congrats to the
Congratulations.
1,000 young men and women that got this job, and thanks to NMPC for this platform.
All right, that's why we have programs like this, Good Morning Africa, where people are being sensitized. People are, funny enough, some persons might not even know, because Nigerians, we have a bad habit of not knowing our rights. You don't know some things you're not even supposed to pay for, but because you're ignorant, because you don't know, you end up paying. So that is why we have platforms like this. We educate you, we sensitize you, you become a better citizen, you become a patriotic citizen. Once again, congratulations.
Okay, so moving over to the next story we have on our decks here, still on employment and empowerment of Nigerians. But this time around on the state level, Enugu government approves recruitment of 6,580 teachers, school staff, and that's coming in from the Enugu government. Kudos there, one and only governor of Enugu, speaking of Mba, Governor Peter Mba, employing 6,580 staff teachers. We took the first story was on employment. Second story
Sorry,
to
on employment. Yeah.
That's really a good one. The goal is to employ qualified candidates into various academic, technical, administrative roles across public, primary, and junior secondary schools in the state, with a strong focus on staffing the state's 267 smart green schools. And in line with his administration's commitment to providing the human resources required to drive the Smart Green School initiative and deliver quality education across the state, Governor Peter Mba has approved the recruitment.
The first story, we had 1,000 young professionals employed on the federal level. And on the state level, we're having 6,580 teachers being employed, being recruited, being deployed to the teaching sector of that state. This should tell you something about this administration, right? Because we are getting employed, people are getting employed, and then in the academic sector, in the educational sector, it is a good one because over the years, I mean, recently, the Nigeria educational system has been decaying, right? We've been having, people no longer wants to go into teaching because of poor payments, right? And then we've been producing students with low reading culture, and all this boils down to the whole academic sector entirely. But with this, that the governor has sat down to look into it and say, okay, fine, let us give over 6,000 people the opportunity to train the younger generation, the opportunity to breed the younger generation. I think it's a good one. And for the fact that it is the educational sector, because if you look at 21st century Nigerian youth, not youth, teenagers and students, many people are beginning to lose interest in education.
The uprising. Yeah.
Thank you very much. A very, very good example is the uprising, that online saga that we had recently, right? But with this kind of headline, we see that it is a good one. At least people are going into teaching, and I feel for every teacher, they have gone through the four walls of teaching, being a teacher, what it means to be a teacher. And since they are called qualified teachers will breed good students. True. Right? Yeah. Qualified teachers a qualified teacher will not give you an assignment and you don't do it, and they will sit down and fold your hands, right? A qualified teacher would make sure they bring the best out of you. So it is a good one for the Enugu state, and I feel every other state's governor should emulate this. It's a good one. I must confess.
Yeah, let's take a brief breakdown on the number, the 6,580. A breakdown of the positions shows that the board is seeking 4,698 core subject teachers in mathematics, English language, basic science, basic technology, ICT, French, Igbo language, and history. Now, in other positions advertised include 520 digital librarians, 280 experiential learning innovators, 267 guidance and counselors, 267 ICT staff, 267 laboratory attendants, 136 account officers, and 45 technicians. Now, this is an elaborate breakdown of how that figure, 6,580 staff, is going to be allocated. Now, one thing I must point out is the fact that, in the education system, there was a period where history was taken out of the books. Yeah. I think during my time in the senior secondary school, that was when the history's legs were being broken a little bit, and then it was taken out totally. Then all of a sudden, it had been brought back into the curriculum and everything. There's this saying that you can't just abandon the past. You use the past to plan for the future, and the past teaches you to not make the mistakes you made in the past. Now, having history back into the curriculum of education is something commendable. And then in this era of AI and digitalization, I can see that the Enugu government is embracing technology. Yeah. We have 267 ICT staff with 520 digital libraries, and that means 520 digital librarians. I mean to say, it shows that yes, the government is also embracing digitalization, embracing the advent. Let me not even say advent. If I use the word advent, it means it's just coming or something like that. But AI is obviously here to stay. It just there is this fear that AI would kick out a whole lot of creatives and all. But when I was reading during my spare time, I was reading something on AI and the advent of AI, and I saw somewhere where it said AI won't kick out creatives. Yeah. It will only kick out those creatives that can't utilize AI. And that struck me. Yeah. That struck me. Because now as a creative, you might have a task that normally it takes 5 hours to do. Imagine you can't make use of AI. You're a creative, and I can make use of AI as a creative. You would obviously make use of that the whole 5 hours to get the job done. But me as a creative that's able to utilize AI and cash into its oil wells, its Pandora's box of abilities and a whole lot of things AI can do. I'll probably complete that task in an hour or two. Yeah. And get more tasks. Yeah. Then if as a boss, imagine we are employed in the same company, definitely you'll be sent away. Because in what you're doing in 5 hours, I'm doing it in 1 or 2 hours. Yeah. So yes, having to embrace digitalization in good government is a commendable one, I must say.
I must also commend them because bringing back history, like you said, is a good one. I think I read somewhere where I think I read, if you want to destroy the future of a country, eradicate their history from them. You know, your history gives you your roots. Your history gives you a sense of belonging. So it's a good thing that history has come back, and it has come back to stay, right?
Should I say something just to add something concerning this history?
Yeah.
I'm studying journalism back there in the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. I'll keep saying it that my two best courses were not from my department.
Right?
My best courses were from history
The
department.
department, right?
And I still remember them. History 121. That's history of Africa.
Right.
History 122. History of West Africa,
Africa.
and that's where they taught us the Shaka Zulu War. And
Right.
you know, history is it's a beautiful.
History, if you
it's
have a
beautiful.
good teacher, right, that will break down history for you, you know that history is something that once you are taught, it sticks to your head.
Yeah,
right?
Dr. Anyanwu, I can't forget
Right.
him.
It's if you have a good teacher, they'll break it down. They'll make you understand. They'll make you understand Africa. They'll make you understand your roots. They'll make you understand that you are not less of the whites. Right. All of this put together. So it's a good one that they are bringing history back and history to say. Just like you have said, the governor of Enugu State did not just say, I'm employing teachers to go to the classroom to teach maths, English, basic science, and the rest. And then they started saying, okay, we are in the digital world, right? Our words should be, they should know, they should be digitalized. They should know about technology. They should know how to use these things. So it's a good thing that they have bring all these things together. So not just teachers teaching you what you should know in the classroom, but then you're exploring other things. You're exploring what is happening outside classroom. So it's a good one. It is indeed commendable.
Very commendable.
All right, we are moving to our main story for today, right? And the main story for today is Ondo begins demolition of buildings blocking waterways amid flood risks, right? So the Ondo State government has commenced the demolitions of buildings and other structures erected on waterways and government setbacks in Akure, that is the state capital, as it steps up its efforts to prevent flooding and enforce physical planning laws. Now, a statement signed by Williams Oni, the Director of Information, the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, stated that the exercise, which started along Oyemekun Road, a metropolitan artery in capital city, formed part of a wider campaign by the state government to remove development obstructing natural drainage channels, right? So, with formal warning already served, the government is sending a firm message: public safety and urban planning must come first before unauthorized developments. So, but as bulldozers clear the way, it rises an urgent conversation, right? How can state government prevent illegal constructions, right, in the first place? And where do we draw the line between strict environmental discipline and protecting property investment? There is nothing you would want to say. You see that mentality they have? You see that idea that is in their head and in their mind? That is what they are stick to. I'll give you a practical example. Now, if you look at the Abuja Kefi Expressway, they are constructing bridges and they are constructing the road there. Do you know how many times they went there to drive those people selling by the road? They did not go. They are still there till now. Whenever soldiers get to that road, all of them pack their properties and run. When the soldiers leave, they come back. Are we going to say that they are not being sensitized enough? Is it the beggars on the bridge? The ones on the road? Is it the people selling by the roadside that causes traffic on that road? How many times have they told them, okay, the government gave them a space, the international market, move to this place, right? We are not stopping your business. We are not stopping your transaction. But we are giving you it. Okay, move to this place. But some Nigerians will say, no, this is where we want to be. So in that case, what would the government do?
Well, when we're talking about this, urbanization comes with sacrifices.
Okay.
That's what I tell myself. And it's a sad one that on that altar of sacrifice lays the informal and the akarasela and the obioma
Mamas,
and
yes.
all. But then that shouldn't be so. There should be provisions for these sets of persons. Yes, let me use the word, we have coconut head.
Good.
As you said, they've given them a space. But you see that place,
That is where they want
that
to
place
be.
they are in,
Yeah.
that's where they want to be. But I always say, we need to reorientate our values. I had the opportunity to speak to one of the advocates for Greener Abuja, and he said, if we can, that's the executive director, Hip City Innovation Center, Mr. Basi, and he said when he was growing up in Calabar, there was this jingle that always played, keep Calabar clean. Right? If one of either Calabar or Akwa Ibom, but the jingle always sang keep Calabar clean together with them. If you can employ that on billboards, if you can have that on the way, billboards, the little child walking to school or the little child coming back from the shop sees it. Keep Abuja clean. Keep Nigeria clean. It is your duty to keep Nigeria clean. That way you see there will be changes. Baby steps, but there will be changes.
I totally agree with that. And another thing I think the government can do is do enforcement. Use force. There's some people that, like your dog, there's sometimes you whip your dog.
I flog Luna, yeah.
Good. Now there's sometimes that you have to go hard. Not because you hate them, not because you
spare the rod and spoil the child.
Exactly. There's sometimes you go hard. When you go hard, you withdraw. You go hard, you withdraw. And I think that's what they are doing on that road now. Like, you enforce the law on them. So that some persons don't understand, some persons don't get. And this reminds me of my school. When I was in school, right there, there's this everywhere you go, you see, okay, like at every turn you see this the trash can, that grain waste bin. Like, keep KSU clean and green. But I tell you, some students will still drink sachet of water. Drop it on the floor.
That's the average.
They'll still eat food, the takeaway, and drop it there. Do you know, at some point, right, they started arresting people.
That should be what we should employ.
Do you understand? As, you know the way school settings is, right? You just have to. In my faculty, you can't drop it. Like, you have to be. In fact, if you want to drop it, your friend with you that is standing by you will tell you, "Have you forgotten?" At some point, if we see that they have done the enlightened people and it's not working, the use of force.
Not too much force.
Not everything should be minimal, right?
Exactly.
That's what we have for the major story. But then it's a good one, because now the first question I asked, I told you that we are going to get back to is, where do we draw the line between strict environmental discipline and protecting property investment?
Where do we draw the line? I started this employing the one of the problems, as I said, is our cities are not really planned.
Yes.
Everybody just comes and builds.
Okay.
And then when urbanization comes towards that place, that's the problem of demolition comes.
Yes.
Let the cities be planned. They employ the service of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. Architects, surveyors should be brought to avoid this question. This might answers the last part of your question to avoid the issue of demolitions and everything. The right body should be used. Urban development advocates have been complaining about the Abuja master plan that it's been outdated. If there is need to to update it, let me use that word, update it. But cities, villages should be planned properly to ensure that we don't have issues of demolitions and all. That's just my
at this point, we say those houses just have to be brought down because it causes more harm.
Yes, erosion is bad. People die.
Yes, people die. So those houses have to be brought down. But then I think the government can compensate them, right? Or take them to another plot of land and give them, okay, we are demolishing your house, we are moving you to this place.
And it's help them like 50 or 60% of it,
right? So you don't just leave them stranded, frustrated, and all that. So those houses have to be brought down because the drainages have to be cleared.
True.
Right? But then the government can do
Better.
can do better
And
by
individuals can do better too.
individuals can do better, right? So at this point in time, we'll be going on a short break, and when we get back, we will dive straight into the build sector. Just stay with us.
Happy 20th anniversary to Africa International Housing Show.
28周年纪念快乐，耶！
Happy 20th anniversary, AIHS!
Happy 20th anniversary, AIHS.
Happy 20th anniversary, AIHS!
Happy 20th anniversary to AIHS.
Happy 20th anniversary, AIHS.
From Lenzo Homes,
Happy 20th anniversary, AIHS.
From Proma Paint, happy 20th anniversary, AIHS.
Okay, welcome for those just joining us. It's Good Morning Africa, and it is Housing TV Africa right here in the city's capital, Abuja. Moving over to the build sector, what we have for you for the build sector is the Bauchi government that they've secured a $91.6 million ECOWAS loan for road projects, and the Bauchi State, the infrastructure financing facility from the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the fund the construction and rehabilitation of key transport infrastructure across the state. Governor Bala Mohammed said the agreement, backed by the federal government guarantee, was concluded after 18 months of negotiations and has already been captured in the state's 2026 budget. Now, this is something, if we want to dissect now, it's going to take a whole lot of time. But well, good. Just few weeks back, a few days back, you saw there was a backlash on this current government on the amount of excessive borrowings. Now this is another borrowing on right in our faces. But the thing is, we just hope that the money that has been borrowed is channeled into the purpose it is meant for. So I'll keep it there for want of time, so we get to run out of the studio.
All right, now, just like you've said, okay, it's not just borrowing. What are we borrowing this money for? Let's see proof. Let's see evidence that fine. I think an article came out the other day and said they should give us and good thing that the government responded that in a few days from now they are going to come and tell us how this money has been
the
spent.
subsidy,
right?
Yeah.
So it's a good one. So I think it process transparency. It's making the government accountable for their accountable for their action. This is where we draw the curtain on this section on Good Morning Africa. It has been an insightful, educative section so far. You can get more of conversations like this by checking us up on all social media platforms at Housing TV Africa. Once again, my name is Esther Thomas. Thanks for staying with us.
And I am Kelechi Anuru. It's been lovely doing this with Esther Thomas, and you, a lovely viewer out there. Do have a splendid day.